plays, but then the rest of TSM showed some hesitancy in following up. Yellowstar was a half step ahead of everyone, but then Yellowstar was also a half step off with a lot of his plays. He missed a lot of Bard ults. His Bard play wasn't particularly inspiring, and maybe that came from a feeling of being second-guessed, but we can only see that from the future. At this point, we're just speculating. But the TSM lack of trust and hesitation will become more worrisome if it persists. They've had another week to play together. We know Yellowstar came into the country fairly late, so they didn't have very long to prepare for LCS, and they're still finding their identity with this roster.
Well, speaking of rosters, we can check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, coming into this game is TSM, of course. You just saw him. Hanser up in the top lane. Sven Skaren in the jungle. Bjergsen in mid. Doublelift, the all-star AD carry. Yellowstar on support with Coach Yarge behind them.
And on the red side against him, still undefeated, is Immortals. Huni in the top lane. Rainover in the jungle. Both those guys come from Fnatic. Pobelter spent last season on COG. Wild Turtle, TSM, and Adrian was from Team Impulse. So really high-profile players from all around with their coach Dylan. That's looking so good. So far, so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, everyone kind of knew this coming in. Wild Turtle up against his old team on TSM is going to be a bunch of fun to watch for. Though he's still facing Doublelift, so that's kind of no news that, oh, look, these two really good AD carries are fighting each other in North America, but it's, Doublelift in a New Jersey, Wild Turtle in a New Jersey, and, them both kind of with new bot lanes.
Exactly, and, how many flaws were in Wild Turtle's game that they tried to remove on TSM by putting all these restrictions on him, like not flashing. And normally you would think kind of, oh man, AD carry against his former team. That former team's really going to know how to punish him. But the only person on that team that is former is Bjergsen. It's a new coach. It's a new analyst. It's 4 new players to go with them. So really, it is Wild Turtle against Reggie and Bjergsen. But these are 2 new teams battling it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's only even 3 people on that roster who actually played against Wild Turtle at some point during that year. With or against him either way. But we are, of course, into this game. Bans coming through. Elise away from Rainover. The Lulu banned out as well. It's a great Pobelter champion, of course. No Graves jungle for Sven.
Technically, Yellowstar played against him at MSI.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But, I mean, that's
I was thinking of Worlds.
That's
and I was
not
like,
an LCS tournament. That's a
LCS teams did go to the tournament.
True,
I mean, to be fair, Jat, you're actually right.
Neither here nor there.
But you are right, though. So I'm going to concede that point. Rise banned out as well. Huni, very strong. Another Gangplank ban here as well. So Spatterga bans all across. Various roles for each of these guys.
Yeah, another Graves ban. So we don't even get to see Jungle Graves have an appearance in North America. It's like 1 week, no one plays it. The next week, everyone bans it. And first pick, Poppy locked.
Yeah.
In. All right.
Poppy, see, I'm pretty sure Poppy is just actually overpowered. Anytime a champion is recently released or reworked and is immediately picked up for pro play,
right,
pretty much as soon as they're available, they're probably broken. There's a lot of things that take some time. Nard took some buffs and a lot of time. Tom Kench took minor buffs and a lot of time to become top tier. Poppy is probably incredible, and
Poppy's just in there.
Smart taking that first pick.
Question will be, where do we see Poppy? We've seen her spots in the jungle. We've seen her banned as support. But more recently, the most recent Poppy I've seen is a lot of top Poppy.
Yeah.
Poppy everywhere. It's tank build, generally speaking, Iceborne Gauntlet, and it splits or assassinates a lot of different matchups. So Hanser doing it is totally a possibility, but it's almost the ultimate flex pick at this point.
Very true. 3 roles has played professionally so far this split. Frequency aside here. Corki, one of the other high-profile AD carries to pick up here. Caitlyn going to be the other grab there for Doublelift. We saw Sneaky play her last week, but now double picking up this champion as well. One of the more rarely picked marksmen down there. Braum picked up despite very few support bans, and TSM like their lineup so far.
Yeah. I think IMT is pretty happy with their lineup as well. They're just almost more power picks on the side of Immortals thus far with Lysandra and Corki, whereas the Caitlyn is a lesser-known pick, but something that Doublelift has always shown a large proficiency on, especially if he wants to 2v2 win the lane.
Oh, man. Olaf and Janna picked up. This is Adrian 3 games in a row on Janna. One of the only support players to really play her a lot, but she is incredibly powerful, and it just fits not only his play style as a player, but also just Immortals' team, I feel like. This Olaf also is a bit of a flex pick. We've seen Rainover play it. We've seen Huni play it. And that Lysandra could go top or mid as well. So good luck to TSM picking your lineups here.
We've seen Faker play Olaf in the mid lane.
That was the world.
It's unlikely to happen here in this game.
Also,
the Janna gives such good disengage, and it means TSM will have to make very concerted efforts if they want to have choice over team fights, because currently Immortals has the better engaged champion and the better disengaged champion with Lysandra and Janna. You don't see analogs to those on TSM thus far. maybe they'll try and do it with these last 2 picks.
Second time I've seen Ari Hubbard now in Champion Select. I wonder if they'll actually lock it in this time around.
Ding, ding.
All right, locked in Ari and Lee Sin. So it is going to be top lane Poppy, of course, as the jungle Lee Sin is here. And the Braum, of course, is exclusively played as support. So TSM have the full lineup together. And it's honestly quite well-rounded. You've got an assassin there to potentially fight against double AD. Otherwise, you know, a mix of diving and a mix of protection.
It is so hard to read lanes in Champ Select this season because of all the variants of where a champion can go. Lissandra, top or mid, Corki, mid or AD, Olaf, jungle or top. Like, really, you don't even know what this last pick is going to be going for, and that's why you see kind of the generic Ari pick. Ari's something you could pick into anything. Because, honestly, Bjergsen, no idea where he's going to end up going. And, honestly, I don't know what Immortals is going to do here. Pobelter might be a mid Lissandra. There's just no way of knowing.
Still time to decide, though. 6 seconds to go until that lock-in is required. What'll happen for you, and Fiora is the pickup here. So as much as Poppy likes to build full tank, Fiora, of course, is very good at breaking down these tanks. And now the question is, how good is she at stopping the lunges via the Steadfast Presence, I believe it's called, her W that stops dashes. It is mid Lissandra after all, and Immortals have the lineup.
And critically, one of the greatest strengths of the Poppy is the disengage with her ultimate can be blocked by the Fiora riposte, which will be very critical if we see some of these team fights. Overall, though, as far as things that can lane against Fiora, I have seen Poppy specifically picked into Fiora in the LPL and find success. It's still a skill matchup, but as far as Fiora against tanks, Poppy does better than most.
All right, so both these guys can feel comfortable at their top lane matchup then, if we can see it maybe go either way. And as the locks are in, we're going to find out who can do a bit better here. TSM, only 1-1 to start the week. The loss against CLG was heartbreaking. The win against Team Liquid not convincing, and here they are up against their toughest competition yet in Immortals, who have looked nothing but stellar. So Immortals, they can keep this run going, knock down a top team in TSM, then they will continue to be North America's top team. Guys, you at home, let us know who's going to win this one. Hashtag TSM win or hashtag IMT win. Send those to @LOL Esports on Twitter. But guys, we have got ourselves the battle of 2 of the most hyped super teams in North America. TSM, 4 new players. Immortals, brand new with some amazing talent. And we're going to figure out who can be the top dog of North America, can match energy at 3-0, and leave their mark on North America. Here we go.
And Immortals, this is their week of being tested. The game against TSM today, the game against Energy, who is sitting atop the standings at 3-0 tomorrow. And it really all starts here. Immortals with a team composition that other teams don't really put together. Reignover is pretty much the only one to consistently do jungle Olaf. And Adrian, also one of the only people to do Janna. So it's not like Immortals is picking meta. They're just playing whatever they are best at and really having confidence in their ability to build strategies around those champions.
It's funny, too, because, of course, we just heard, as Mark was talking about on the analyst desk, Cloud9 just sort of picks for comfort. They just pick what they like to do. They're not heavily focused on counterpicking so much. And here's Immortals kind of doing that exact same recipe, just with a bit more success here. And it's always interesting, sort of, you know, players deciding what they think is good versus what the meta is. Season 5 World Championship, Faker decided that Ryze was good when no one else knew that. Turns out everyone else now knows Ryze is good. And it's always fun watching people who are trendsetters. And if everyone else buys into that, or if they're just that unique snowflake.
Yeah, also how well you play the game depending on your comfort level of a champion. You see the game differently if you're not focusing as much on your skills. Even at a pro level, that applies.
Absolutely.
Just to a lesser extent because they're better at many more
Legends.
things. Yeah, walking through a ward, though, Immortals really early on. This will push the Lee Sin down. Basically, it's very rare you see 2 people starting from opposing teams in the same quadrant of the jungle.
This is actually fairly risky by the Immortals invade. So TSM are totally safe here. They take a small part of the move. I actually love this invade, by the way. You take a few small pieces of a blue buff and then leave because you get most of the golden XP anyway. Here, Immortals were not punished for the taking of the Gromp. Despite the fact the Wolf Spirit was smited, TSM did not show up in time to steal. And Adrian gets most of the way to level 2. As of the 2016 changes, you don't actually get level 2 off a full camp anymore without a jungle item. But he's really trying to stop Svenskeren and Hanser from doing anything useful here.
Huni coming back.
And they
really
know
they're down.
Steal this. Oh! A flash force. Huni did show up, but nothing was stolen. Huni's got to be a bit careful, but now he's got some teammates around.
Yeah, but Yellow Star got the blue buff. Not that it's super impactful, but it's experience it's more denied from TSM. Initially, in parsing this level 1, it looked like TSM was going to come out on top because Doublelift and Yellowstar stole the most experience in the most efficient way possible. Took a very short amount of time to gain a half level of experience from the blue buff. But Immortals just being as pesky as possible, delaying Hauntzer, Yellowstar, and Svenskeren some of that experience. But in the meanwhile, Turtle and Doublelift are still free farming.
But of course, it also means Svenskeren is actually farming. So there's actually 3 lanes of farm coming in for TSM if you count the jungle, whereas Reignover is still running around invading, and I guess now he's fighting a Grom.
No, Reignover was farming the whole time as well. Actually,
okay, yeah,
Reignover started his own jungle. So it's Huni basically trying to cheat death. Ghost Popper Reignover, now he's here.
And suddenly Hauntzer dying! The curse of Dyrus is still here. TSM's top laner gives up first blood. What a crazy early game by Immortals, and Reignover showing up right on time.
Hauntzer not expecting Reignover to suddenly appear with a Ghost Olaf, level 3, 3.5 minutes. That was a Reignover power farm cycle, while the rest of Immortals was being as pesky as possible. Svenskeren entered the farming cycle late, so he couldn't make it in time. And honestly, a very poor flash by Hauntzer, flashing straight away after an Axe lands against a Ghost Olaf. Unless you're clearing a wall, you are not getting away from that speeding man.
Yellowstar, level 1 against an Olaf. He's thankful that Reignover has no mana.
They're just trying to steal.
Yeah, he has Smite. That's not going to be a thing.
Honestly, this has been Immortal schooling TSM in the early game for the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, even with the turret kill, Doublelift gets nothing done down there. He does get way more farm than Wild Turtle, but it just doesn't manifest into anything. It's still a 1,200 gold lead for Immortals off of a significantly better played level 1.
Yeah, but Wild Turtle got the 400 gold bonus from First Blood, so 18 CS be damned. It's the experience that will matter. Unless Doublelift punishes the experience advantage, Wild Turtle will be completely fine.
Well, they're going to try to punish the mid lane now instead. Svenskeren actually misses the Q. Good straight path by Powelter. Sven expected a dodge, and in the little mini game of will you juke or will you not, Powelter chose correctly.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is, like, in pro level play, you don't miss skill shots, you just expect them to juke.
Right.
Like, more often than not, actually, as dumb as that sounds.
Yeah, it's all a big prediction game, and especially with Lissandra, it gets added even more so because you can see where the claw will end up, but Powelter can take it technically at any time, and then there's still going to be a flight delay for the Lee Sin Q, and he'll get to choose when to juke back and forth. Powelter is one step ahead of the game.
Otherwise, staying equal in CS, not losing any summoners. Reignover just going to clear a Trinket Ward away, which will make Bjergsen have to respect the fact that he doesn't know if Olaf is coming. And Lissandra Olaf can definitely force a flash and then probably still kill you afterwards. So Bjergsen pre-6 will have to be a bit afraid here. We'll see if Reignover can prey on that. Yeah, it goes up under a minute.
Hauntzer is not in the situation to succeed right now, however, because he's already down a turret in the lane that is essentially being left for him, and it's frozen up top for Huni to free farm for as long as he wants. And a level 3 Poppy would need to be able to find a way to show impact. So either he double jungles with Svenskeren, which kind of denies both of them for the foreseeing future, or he makes a play elsewhere. So as of now, Huni's going to be building up a really big lead on Hauntzer, and even if Poppy can stand against Fiora, not if you don't have items 11.
That's very true. He's got a Corruption Potion, though, so at least he can regen. So to bookmark this, at 6 minutes, we're at a 1,200 gold lead for Immortals right now. And we'll see if the lane situation makes it much worse in the near future. Yeah. You expect Immortals to heavily outfarm, but we'll see if TSM can do something about this.
Yeah, well, we're going to reach a pretty big decision point right here. Because there's a big wave that will be collapsing on the second tier turret of TSM. And typically when that happens, you expect the jungler to arrive and try and get the kill on the low-level top laners. So that's why Svenskeren is cheating towards the bottom lane, and Reignover actually has just the right timing to walk into the jungle with Hauntzer. This will depend on how much TSM is willing to defend and how bold IMT is willing to be with this guy. They do not have a teleporting Lissandra, and if they did, I feel like Hauntzer would have to completely abandon that wave.
But instead, neither mid laner gets to show up easily.
They're going to give it to him.
Thanks to a Trinket Ward by Reignover that he kept in his inventory, he'll be able to be spotted, but he's defending just in case and nothing big happens. Second actually recall comes in for Huni. Pickaxe goes towards Tiamat. We'll see which version of that upgrade he goes for in the near future.
Yeah. Hauntzer very fortunate to get this farm. It looked like Huni could have actually kept his freeze for longer, but he chose not to. Without seeing the lane in depth, I can't tell for sure, but that's what I got from the glance. So I feel like he kind of lets Haunter back in the game a little bit, because I don't think a level 3 Poppy could have made a roam play, and Immortals was not really forfeiting pressure by having Huni freezing. Now, though, Huni will have to be going to make a play.
But look at how this bottom lane is shaping up. It's a 30 minion lead right now for TSM. There's a slight wave built up here, but Double and Yellowstar are doing a great job of winning that one. You're seeing the gold lead kind of shift back and forth. It was 900, then it was 1100.
True.
Haunter got some of his gold back. As much as the top lane's getting punished, that's plus or minus literally 0 CS right now. And it's the bottom lane that's actually getting crushed.
True. Thing is,
Again,
though,
first blood is some of it.
It's one level, and the first blood keeps it even. It's Double and Yellowstar trying to kind of take over this game, and this is the cost of the first blood, was that bottom lane CS differential. But, I mean, it's a pickaxe versus a longsword and a ruby crystal. And unless they can go down there with some gank pressure, it's unpunishable at the moment. Svenskeren needs to be babysitting the Poppy instead of going down to punish the Corki. That could be a nice punish. There we go, good damage.
Wild Turtle juked right. Yellowstar expected that. A lot of damage going through. Gets a Gianna shield and will wave clear properly. This means the wave is, or the 80 carries are 17 CS opposite. As this gets cleared out.
Which is pretty much what they entered the lane at.
That is true. That is true. It wasn't so much in the 2-on-2 as you said, the cost of the first blood. The 1,000 gold lead is not too bad when you consider that you're up a turret and a kill. That's actually a farm advantage slightly in terms of numbers, which, again, you see from the 80 carries. Wild Turtle picks up the package. 1 minute late as it spawns at 8 minutes in, but chose to save it until now, until he could buy Phage plus Sheen. TSM will definitely have to recall to match the scariness of package plus 2 item Corki.
Adrian sacrificing a lot to keep this wave here for Wild Turtle. A level 4 Janna was freezing a wave against a level 7 Kate and a level 4 Yellowstar, but Doublelift really needed the recall for that BF sword.
And it's gonna deny at least a full wave. I wonder how long they can keep this freeze. When you freeze an entire extra wave, you can keep it indefinitely for sure. And it will be at least one wave lost in terms of golden experience for TSM. And now, how well can Wild Turtle hold this next one? Because again, there's so many minions here. A cannon plus 3 casters. They can deny most of this one too.
So the game definitely turning into a bit of a wave management chess match after the really chaotic early game. Huni holding his lead over Hansu. Doublelift holding his CS lead mostly over Wild Turtle, but honestly losing it a little bit now. Which just goes to show Immortals coordination. The question will be, though, with this kind of mismatched team comp that Immortals have. Squishy dudes, Rainover can't fall behind. They're going to need to kind of run over TSM, I think, if they want to win.
I think they're going to look to run over them in the top lane, though. Ooh. Rainover pops the ulti to stay alive. There's not a lot of CC they can apply to him, but he's going to take a lot of damage. Svenskeren did not go for the ulti. It wouldn't quite have killed, but it would have done a lot of damage. But Adrian roamed top lane because Wild Turtle is safe with a freeze down there. Adrian got to roam top lane, get some wards down. They could look for the play on Hanser, but Svenskeren was there to defend, and nothing was done. This freeze will not break, but Wild Turtle did clear the wave. Doublelift should actually let this freeze into his lane now. The Wild Turtle needs Adrian, and Adrian's here. So I guess he's fine.
Convenient.
Yeah, hey, look at that. It's like they're really good at League of Legends.
Yeah, and they're catching up on the CS, which is remarkable considering they were down in experience so heavily before.
Split the upright. 3 points for Wild Turtle.
Yeah. Credit to Pobelter as well. 10 CS advantage over Bjergsen.
Very solid. Yeah, if you were to come into the season and like power rank the teams, like just based on player skill, you'd of course give a lot of edge to Huni and Rainover, but via common perception, if you looked at Bjergsen, Doublelift, Yellowstar versus Pobelter, Wild Turtle, Adrian, you'd probably give that edge to TSM in all 3 of those roles.
Bjergsen's been an MVP, North American LCS. Yellowstar was the MVP last split.
He's won 5 LCS splits.
A lot of people think Doublelift should have been the MVP of the summer split, although that title went to Rush. So yeah, they had a lot of talent. But like we said, they haven't had as long together as Immortals. They haven't clicked at the same level as Immortals.
A little bit of damage, but good play by Doublelift. EQ into a headshot auto attack's going to do plenty there. And the Gianna shield doesn't do so much. Bot lane's plus or minus 10 CS right there. Monster and Huni still in a bit of a battle. Ooh, that stun nearly got him in the wall. That could have killed Huni.
Oh, they got him.
Landed, but he's got to be real careful. There's a kickback by Svenskeren. There's the kill, in fact. overextension by Huni, and they're not even done yet. Rainover pops the ulti. He wants this fight, and he's going to do so much damage. Sven flashed to stay alive, didn't need to though. The kill comes through now. Wild Turtle being stunned up. A lot of damage coming through. Yellowstar could not block the tornado.
And TSM chants come through after a big outplay. Kind of a weak TSM chant. They're still down 300 gold. But Haunter made a big outplay right there onto Huni. Finding a way to hit him back towards the turret because Huni was going for the vital.
So greedy.
Really not respecting the Poppy matchup whatsoever. And then Svenskeren was there before Rainover was, catching Rainover in a bad position as well, which leads to 2 kills for TSM. That negates so much of the early wave advantages from Immortals and gives them right back to TSM.
TSM, with that single kill, are now winning in gold, of course. Single kill, actually, sorry, 2 kills, of course. I misspeak there, as of course they had killed Rainover as well. But that makes it for the turret disadvantage.
Yeah, because Huni has a 1-level advantage, but the vital is behind him. Immediately Haunter's like, what are you doing, man? Pops him back up into the air. Also blocks his dash away as soon as he lands down after the ultimate. And Rainover was there because he wasn't expecting his top laner to just die in the turret without doing much damage. So he was hoping for a bit of an extended counter gank. Instead, he finds himself in the jungle and gives up a 2nd kill.
Beautiful stuff. So TSM doing much, much better than records would indicate. Immortals looking to now, for the first time, have a really difficult road. I mean, yeah, their very first game of the LCS was against the Bunny Fufu version of Cloud9, which just didn't seem to have much going in the early game, and just Immortals scaled up really fast. Of course, Impulse was against that really ill-fated perfect game, and now TSM actually a team that's fighting back here. And this is the first real test for Immortals here. And of course, TSM look a lot better now after their week 1 jitters.
Well, TSM has shown a lot of resilience even in their week 1 games, where they'd lose the early game, but then still make a very competitive showing. Really how they turned it around against Team Liquid, because Team Liquid did have a hefty mid-game advantage against them. And now with the Sunfire King, this is a point of power where Hantu is much stronger than Huni.
Nice by Svenskeren. Holds on to the ultimate. No chance to repost that one. Waits long enough. And a kill goes through Svenskeren. 2-0-1. He and Haunter have done all the killing in this game for TSM.
Yeah, Sunfire Cape. Easy turret dive right there. Just had to wait out the riposte, and then Svenskeren kicked him in the wall for the guaranteed Q. And a very well-executed gank against Huni, who, without backup, can't actually be safe against the Poppy Lee Sin combo.
Rainover spent his time in the bot lane while he saw the top lane getting ganked. He ran down, tried to steal the red buff, double lift, managed to pick that one up. You saw that a second ago on your screen. That's why Double's wearing a red right here. But all the pressure he gave allowed Immortals to knock down bot lane outer turret. So it was a trade of turrets at least. But of course that kill going to Svenskeren means advantage to TSM. Rainover can keep trying to do some things as Svenskeren is still top side.
Rift Herald for Dragon trade, looks like. I think the Dragon is still currently winning out this trade. Have yet to see a team execute a good push with Rift Herald minions just because they're so easy to clear.
Yeah.
Even though it does grant 250 global gold for the team in total, 50 gold per player.
Yeah, but the value of just the first Dragon stats is to the tune of 1 to 2,000 gold. So even like this early in the game, it's still more overall stat-wise. So definitely agree in terms of Dragon being more important. We'll see if TSM can be doing something interesting with this though right now. Still holding the 500 gold lead. Yellowstar kills a pink ward. The crowd is ecstatic, of course. No, we're not doing this. We're not. I'm sorry. I really just heavily just screwed up right there. Right. Don't make me regret that, guys.
Acceptable.
And here we go. The attempted siege in the mid lane. Double lift is, of course, maxing traps second. That's the new hotness for Caitlyn.
Yeah, just like 5 traps down in the lane.
Yeah.
Right as someone's trying to siege.
It's pretty obnoxious, to be honest. Wild Turtle.
Getting juked. See, you said pro players don't miss skill shots. They just get dodged. Rift Herald's way ahead of the game.
Yeah, I mean.
The higher difficulty pro player Rift Herald.
Yeah, he gets stronger in LCS games.
Doesn't happen. Not
we
true.
code the AI differently on land. Alright, but it is this just line of cupcakes, and Wild Turtle, I mean, he likes cupcakes. I assume. I actually have no idea. He might actually be gluten intolerant. I actually have no idea. We should ask Adrian, but
he might know.
He lost at duo queue, so he doesn't actually know much about Wild Turtle after all.
Ooh. Yeah, at this point in the game, it's completely equalized, and the playmaking for Immortals is really on the back of Pobelter for jumping in there and landing a stun. No cleanses on anyone for TSM. No QSSs yet built up. So really it's about Pobelter finding a flank and then everyone piling in afterwards. It's just the ward coverage is pretty nice for TSM right now. The pressure isn't necessarily there. And Haunter is real tanky, so he's a difficult person to gank.
And as you had mentioned earlier, it's not a TP Pobelter.
Yeah.
So even...
It's not the same.
Yeah, I was gonna for a joke and decided not to. I showed restraint right now, but yeah, with Ignite, Pobelter was not able to get dominance on the lane, despite the fact that maybe there is room for like a flash W onto Bjergsen, who knows, but well, this Ignite has not paid off in anything, and getting into the back line because of TSM's ward coverage, tracker snipe on Svenskar and sight stun on Yellowstar, there's just no way in. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, this is somewhat of the team composition they picked themselves into. Olaf, not reliable initiation. Fiora is a split pusher, but has been neutralized as of now by Haunter. So he will need to get, I think, substantially more items before he can start winning that again. I think there will become a point where Fiora will be able to win that, so TSM is working on a bit of a clock, but that clock doesn't hit until about 35 minutes.
And TSM's clock is actually starting pretty soon because they're going to get rapid fire cannon on double lift. So okay, Bjergsen versus Pobelter. Pobelter does not seem to know right now.
It depends. He's waiting for him to use a
Charm into the damage and an Ignite as well. Bjergsen's going for this play. Pobelter has to not land the E. Here comes the team. He's going to ult himself to heal. Now Huni is in on a Svenskar and pops the ulti. How good's it going to be? A kick into the wall. Pobelter misses the Q. That was a miss more than a dodge. Huni wants what he can, but he's not going to get the kill before the passive of the ultimate runs out. And the charm's going to mean his death. A double kill for Bjergsen. And TSM are ahead here. Meanwhile, a fight in the top lane. It's not done. Yellowstar overextends here trying to defend this turret. 2 versus 3. He dies. A tier 2 turret for Immortals.
And this is how you know two teams are playing that know what they're doing, because when a play happens in one lane, an opposite play happens if there was a numbers advantage. There was a 2v3 in the bottom lane that was traded 1 for 2, but there was a 3v1 in the other lane where Immortals was able to pick something back for themselves.
So equal in kills, equal in turrets, but the turret that Immortals killed was a better one to knock down. So honestly, slight advantage to Immortals in the grand scheme of everything.
Even though it was TSM who had the more impressive play, so to speak, Bjergsen outsmarted Pobelter to wait in this brush extremely long, waited for the cooldown to be used, also waited for him to show himself through the minions, and then they also had Svenskar there to block the claw path. Pobelter ults himself for a heal. Huni tries to get as much damage out as possible, but the kick into the wall delays things. Haunter then tries to play Huni even longer, and it's actually greed by Svenskar is the only reason he ended up giving that kill away, because he easily could have just continued to run. Haunter and Bjergsen had that kill dead to rights, and it's a misplay at the end of the day by Svenskar to cost him his life.
Unfortunate there now. His first death of this game for TSM. Small miscue by Huni as well. He didn't actually land his second lunge after he popped ulti, so he didn't have the cooldown refresh either. Had to flash to auto-attack Sven, which wasn't enough damage to kill him. And a lot of that could have changed around if he got the heal from that ulti. Either way, as you say, pretty close to equal trade. Adrian trying to play Peel as best he can. Has Frost Queen's Flame done as well. Introduced to Lucidity Boots. This is his build every single time. I actually looked it up to learn Janna better. And his build every single game. Exactly these 3 items. They normally win by now, so I have no idea what he builds next. Actually, it's Locket, but after that, I have no idea. We might find out this time around. Huni and Haunter in a bit of a battle, and Huni knocked into the air to make this charm, and of course, he's going to wait for that one with riposte. Now Huni still in a bad spot, knocked around. Janna saves it! Oh, my word! Immortals keeping it alive. They'll kill Yellowstar as well. Adrian is a superhero. A 2 for 0 to Immortals.
And these are the types of plays that make people excited about Immortals, and why it's justifiable to pick these types of team compositions, because that is just a raw outplay. Huni should have been dead, but Adrian called him over towards the Dragon Pit. He was able to save him with shields and the ultimate to delay damage from TSM, and Chile could dash over the other side. And then to just add insult to injury, they killed 2 people of TSM for what was a good play when it started on the side of TSM.
Huni just needs to play the split push game, getting as far ahead as he can. So here's the point blank ult Haunter, the charm.
Right, but Huni knew that was coming. The charm wasn't instantaneous enough. At this point, though, Haunter and Sven both hit into the wall. They kick Pobelter to the side, but that doesn't help whatsoever. And at that point, it's a really angry Olaf, who you are now in the anger zone of.
the anger zone.
Next to it.
It's
The anger zone.
It's roughly the anger
Don't
zone of
forget the
Olaf.
anger zone.
Can he auto-attack you? Don't. Alright, well, TSM able to recover first. They're on the Dragon. They should knock it down in time. No easy way in for Reignover. So now one Dragon apiece. That'll equalize that stat disparity. 900 gold lead, though, and the road into the mid lane. So TSM kind of knowingly giving away mid lane outer in order to get that Dragon. I can't say it's wrong, just a choice that has earned them some gold. But look at this Immortals actually zoning them off of the way back in.
They have to worry about the choke because Pobelter could enter that choke and really wreak some havoc.
But they're not going to stay for the turret just yet. And Wild Turtle overstays. He's going to get locked up into the air. He's going to run away with special delivery and stay alive for now. Adrian flashing to dodge what he can. Slowed down. And Pobelter in a bad spot. Ults himself should still be a kill. And he will go down. 1-0 TSM.
Yeah, Wild Turtle gets caught there. I'm very surprised that Immortals didn't catch TSM while TSM was in that very small choke point, but they let them through the funnel, and that's when Wild Turtle was punished. Even though he's not the one who died, Pobelter died because the fight was caught in the wrong place, and now TSM gets to push mid.
And a huge mistake by Immortals lets TSM right back in. Looks like TSM doing a better job of being cohesive, listening to the calls, going for the same thing at the same time. Missteps, capitalizations, that's been the name of the game so far in this mid-game here. Someone being in the wrong spot and the other team doing a great job of punishing.
Yeah,
nice
line of cupcakes right there for the rapid-fire Kate to help take down this turret as well. Really hard to defend this one. Reignover would have to pop his ultimate and then just run through all the cupcakes at once. He wanted to let his team through with that initiation, but the team's not in a position for a fight.
All right, 600 gold is the monetary lead for TSM right now. This game is super, super close right now, and every 5 minutes someone else is making the better play right here. So judging by the way things are going, Immortals is next up to make the LCS big play, and they'll be the lead next time around.
Yeah, you're right. Most of this game has swung on outplays.
Yeah.
It hasn't been as kind of raw and mechanical as you'd think. Oh, they had 4 people here, therefore they pushed down the turret, and the turret was backed away on, and then they teleported here to force this play. It was kind of just, all right, there's 3 people against 3 people, and they're going to fight.
Yeah.
And we will see what the result of that fight is.
People dying, which is great. My favorite part of League of Legends.
Yeah, the Iceborne being completed on Hanser just increases his stickiness. So much on Poppy.
And Wild Turtle, of course, always has to be afraid. The engage range of Hanser is actually roughly Wild Turtle's auto attack range. So if you can ever hit Hanser, Hanser can hit W and E and say, you don't get to run for me without flash.
Right.
And Turtle will have to be afraid of that. Agent will have to be the one peeling, essentially.
It also feels like Hanser, the majority of his ultimates have been for point-blank knockups to try and chain CC. I'm waiting for the moment where he winds one up and, you know, knocks someone significantly away from the fight. It's kind of hard against the front line of Immortals, though. Huni can riposte it. Reignover can ignore crowd control effects, take to the face and not be phased. But if he ever sees an opportunity to hit back Pobelter or Wild Turtle, it'll completely change the face of the game. It's one of the most powerful aspects of Poppy, but it's very rarely able to be utilized, I would say.
True. Oh, wow, that charm right there from Fog of War. Pobelter down to half HP. Spends Scared once in. Takes a lot of damage for just that, though. Ulti comes across, only hits 2, but a second charm on a Pobelter. They don't quite kill him off, though. And now Reignover is in the anger zone, kills off one already. And Pobelter buying some time in the front lines. There's the knockback. They got rid of one of them. That's Janna, who's gone from this fight. TSM regrouping 4 onto 4. The stun onto Huni. A double kill for Hanser. And they're going to keep on pushing forward. Yellowstar, though, in the danger zone as well. Gets picked off. Another 1-for-1. Now Wild Turtle going to get chunked. Kills everywhere. Hanser going to tackle him down. It's a 4-for-3 in favor of TSM. And now Adrian is running and running and running, and he will get away. But advantage TSM. Another
Bloodbath of a fight. And this is started by TSM landing a charm and everyone making the call to go. There was not the hesitancy we saw from them last week. And even though everyone wasn't perfectly in position at the start of the fight, Hanser actually took a while to run up. They trusted the call, and ultimately they win the fight just barely.
So what can they get off of this one, of course? They're going to shove the waves in. Feeling 2 already gone. There's that charm on Pobelter.
Charm 1 onto Pobelter. Cycle it a little bit more. Sven Skarin goes in and takes some damage, but Yellowstar clearly made the call to go. Charm 2 onto Pobelter to suck him in there. And then here, Hanser starts charging up the ultimate, and see you later, Reignover and Adrian, and that was the fight changer because Huni thought he had friends. They could have been in a position to win, but the Poppy ult was a fight changer, as we just talked about how it can be. Massive aggressive play there by Hanser, who then changes the fight and also has the Iceborne Gauntlet to finish the fight.
Wildturtle just getting the damage just barely off on a Bjergsen, who jumped in to get a little bit more damage to make that dive work, and then thought he could flash out in time. Good target selection by Wildturtle. That's actually one of the skills that I value most highly in high-level AD carries, is that you normally hit what you're allowed to hit, which is tanks, but when they realize this guy's out of position, I can walk a step forward and kill someone like an Ahri, that's to me a mark of a really, really great player. Wildturtle right on the money. They're immediately switched to the right target. That's actually very impressive to do that so quickly.
Yeah, Wildturtle gets himself into dangerous situations because of that sometimes, but honestly, as you say, his quickness to prioritize for a squishy and almost try and play an AD carry like an assassin, really prioritizing these squishy targets, has set him above other AD carries in the past.
Wildturtle right now, kind of the best contributor on his team, 6-1 and 6. Not to be outdone by
3-1 and 3?
Yeah, because 3 adds to 3 and makes 6.
Yeah, and it's 6.
And my brain.
So he's contributed on 6 of the 8 kills.
That's what I meant to go for. Not be done by Adrian's James Bond cosplay via his score, but still, the bot lane doing quite well for Immortals, and we're going to see them roam up to the top lane. A little bit of warding anti-synergy, double ward to the same brush, but they will cover everything up cleanly enough. Gold lead only 2,000. Again, very, very close game, but TSM are eking these small edges.
Yeah,
wow, Hanser.
Yeah, I mean, oh, and he stops the dash.
Brutalizing Huni right now. Again, just shade stunning him. Dear Lord! Hanser smashes Huni
without taking a single point of damage. This is why people do pick Poppy into Fiora occasionally if you do it right. But also, why is Huni even putting himself in a position to fight at this point? He has 2 items. Hanser has 3.5. Not to mention the armor he's going to need against Huni. Just a total one-sided affair there. Hanser showing up this week. Even after the rough start, has been able to recover.
100% KP. I mean, like, just compare the rest of his team. It's like, 7, 6, 5, like 11 out of 11. Hanser, the one player you would not consider like the super team member. You know, just coming over from Gravity. I mean, he's a good top laner, but he's showing up so well. Now TPing to make Baron happen.
This is actually super dangerous because Huni's up in 4 seconds, so the split push advantage has been forfeit. TSM also at half health from this Baron. This is certainly a fight. Pobelter has ultimate. Here he goes.
Who's going to get the steal? Reignover is in, and the smite goes to Reignover. That's an Immortals Baron and a kill, and they keep going. Hanser, Dublin, both being attacked. Double does in fact go down. Huni gets a 3rd kill. This is a slaughter. A huge mistake by TSM.
Yeah, remember when we said that this game hasn't really been decided by good or bad calls and it's mainly been about outplaying? That was a bad call because they had Hanser already killing Huni and a split push advantage, and then they basically opt in for a 5v5 in the Baron pit after taking damage and a 50-50. Immortals also wants TSM in his choke point. Like, everything goes wrong. Spence Garen's chased down while they lose the inhibitor, and TSM throw the game away.
Mid lane, tier 3, tier 2, and inhibitor all going down. Nothing else to grab. Of course, everyone, I believe, was actually alive to still receive the Baron buff. So Immortals have a full power Baron, and they are ready to just crush this game.
Literally everyone on Immortals could make it to the Baron pit for a 5v5 before TSM could kill the Baron. And now they just get to reap the rewards of that. 50-50 smite, so great job by Reignover. But just looking at this, Pobelter's full health and has a chance to go in. Then Reignover is unstoppable. You cannot stop him from going in for a smite. Smite 91 health early. Or it was smite E from Reignover that gets it. Hanser also uses smite, I think, in there. So super slow-mo would be done for that one. But honestly, when they're funneling in against a Corki Lissandra and opting into a Baron fight at the same time, that is just never the call you want to make.
They thought they could peel. Yellowstar landed the ulti. It actually did stun up Reignover, but it just didn't die in time. Reignover was able to get into range, even through the Yellowstar ult. So, unfortunate stuff by TSM. They went for a committed call. It did backfire. Immortals only, again, 2,000 gold up in the driver's seat for now.
Yeah, it's true. Because there's still a very strong Poppy right now. Hanser full tank with the Thornmail. Very hard to kill him. No matter how much true damage or magic damage they can throw at him. Which is actually a lot. So I'm a little surprised he's prioritized armor so heavily and not more health.
Yeah.
Huni can do 40% health true damage if he gets all 4 procs. Reignover can use his E for true damage. Corki does half magic damage. Actually not that much physical damage on the
Corki's more like a 75-25. It's like, Reignover and part of Wild Turtle and part of Huni. But this choice went for either way. We can analyze damage taken afterwards. Rain over. FaZe taking a lot of damage, has to ult to get away.
The traps.
He ate a cupcake, he's going to eat all the rest of them. Wild Turtle getting what damage he can, but Huni going to dodge away to get out from the Haunter tackle. Half HP though on this team. Wild Turtle getting poked just a little bit as well.
I feel like he was taking the damage from every trap as he was running through as well, so he's like, you know what, I should not kill myself on these.
Yeah.
And then double it very quickly replaces them.
Yeah,
that
they
base,
are off
though,
ammo.
the base actually just lost a Nexus turret because TSM, with an embattled defense down here, they didn't stop the wave from stacking. So even with that, Immortals with a successful push.
Yeah. Well, in terms of gold, the Nexus turret gives much less than a tier 2, and so if the base never dies, it's technically the right choice by TSM. Still a risky one, of course, because now a game-winning push is that much easier. But TSM have pretty much stopped the Baron take, and we end up at a 1,700 gold difference.
You're absolutely right. And now the split push game will continue to be a factor, because TSM had the split push edge on Haunter when he solo killed Huni, but they forfeit that by making a bad Baron call. Now, Huni has completed the 3rd offensive item, and he's gone double lifesteal, which means he's actually more towards split pushing than he is towards team fighting. A lot of times, Fiora can build just 2 offensive items, still kill anyone, and then becomes kind of a bruiser with double tank items for team fights. But Huni doesn't have that option because he needs the 2nd lifesteal item if he wants a chance of fighting Haunter, thanks to the Thornmail. So a really complex set of item choices here, and TSM actually not even responding to Huni right now.
Well, TP was down for Haunter, but it was up for Huni. They had to respect that, it looks like, and TSM pushing what they could have in mid lane, but they don't get a whole lot done. Velvelser cheating as much as he can. And they will clear this wave back and forth. 2,800 gold. These teams neck and neck. TSM could finish today 2-1 and tie Immortals at 2nd place, who would also be 2-1 if they lost this one. Immortals could tie for 1st with 3-0 if they can get this game back and continue to push forward. But even more than standing, it's just pride showing that, hey, you are the best team in North America. You can take down the best teams in North America. This TSM lineup, via measuring their opponents, looking much better than last week, I would say. But still behind.
Still some misplays, still some miscues. Not everyone on the same page. Not the cleanest calls. But this is early split for any team, especially with all the roster changes that have gone. Gotta wait another 45 seconds for that Vantage build to come off.
640 damage with the crit for doubling there.
Traps are immense.
Yes. Again, Immortals don't have the best engage tools ever. Like, Poboto could jump over them. Everyone else has to walk in some way and take a route to get into the fight. So when TSM is set up, it is hard for Immortals.
Even so, still a very close game. Like I was saying, Wild Turtle progressing quite well with his item build. Hitting that max CDR he can get on Corki here. Trinity Force F3 Infinity Edge. QSS on top of it in case he gets hit by a charm.
That will be a scimitar, I'm almost certain.
Yeah, the full Savior build from Adrian. Mikhail's as well as the Locket, in case someone does get caught. And a death cap probably on the way for Pobelter that'll make his burst much higher, as it will be the 6th item to his build. So a lot of AP to multiply.
Now a Jarum's Fist being picked up for Huni. The thing is that... Sterix. Yeah, Sterix is the item. I was going to say, like, he already has Black Cleaver, and he can already turn into Titanic Hydra, so I was like trying to remember what that was going to go. That's, I think, the last Jarum's Fist ending can buy.
We'll see what his confidence is like here, because Haunter is super tanky. 3,500 health, Poppy.
Haunter just respects it. He's like, I cleared it enough. It's pushing. We're done here. And Huni will not jump in for the fight, so he's going to clear the wave, and out we go.
You got the 2nd wave as well.
Yep. And that wave will push back in. So Dragon in 20 seconds. Immortals only has 2. TSM only has 1. Baron is up in 6th, though. So if you go for Dragon, you always risk the comeback Baron. And it's going to make that risky for either team. Fighting right now over Baron ward control. Currently, Immortals controls that, but that could always change. Huni, look at that true damage on a Haunter. Dashes right in, but he landed the auto attack. That actually still hits. We got the reset on the dash.
Yeah, sometimes when Fiora plays super teams, you run up bottom 4. Oh, Doublelift got caught!
And he's gone already, so here comes the rest of the fight. Wild Turtle running from Bjergsen, but Bjergsen will get revenge on his old AD carry. carry. It's 1-for-1. AD carry's gone. Haunter knocks back the Lissandra, and Haunter is now on the run, but slowed by the Rain over Axe. Has to flash, but could get caught again. Huni really wants in. The Q's going to be back up. He's going to land that one. Gets the move speed. He's going to get the kill from across the wall. Nicely done, Huni. And Immortals in a 4 versus 3 are ready to push.
And I can't believe I didn't see it before, but Immortals certainly did. 37 minutes into the game, there is no McHale's, no cleanse, and no QSS on a double lift. So all it took was a Pobelter flash ultimate to delete him from the map. But they still have to collapse in afterwards, and the fight continues.
Huni's pretty aggressive, but still it's a 4 versus 3. So down goes Yellowstar, 4 versus 2 underneath the turret. But Immortals have, of course, a wave. Huni already pushed that one in. Bjergsen getting what poke he can. Huni very low, Rain over, pretty much dead as well. Double Lift is back alive. They're not going to get any more of the inhibitor. This team will run, but Bjergsen really wants in. Goes for the charm. Pobelter goes back up, and they're going to delete TSM. A double for Huni. In comes Double Lift, but he's got to be real careful. He is alone. He is fighting Rainover, and he will not kill Rainover. He will kill Huni, but he's going to go down. Everyone is dead. Haunter is up in 5 seconds, but there is only one Nexus turret.
The turn from Immortals, so impressive, and they make the plays to win this game if they can take down the Nexus against Haunter.
I think it's going to be enough. It's not a lot of damage, but there are super minions and there are no respawns. This should be the game. Back comes Rainover. Down goes the Nexus. Immortals 3-0.
Wow. We'll have to see that catch at the end by Pobelter, but it's just recognizing when you have an opportunity and being able to make those fearless calls. We saw them 2 times there in the last 2 minutes for Immortals, and both of them were from Pobelter's Lissandra ultimates. He jumps onto Double Lift. When there's no items or summoner spells to get out of it,